What's up everyone, it's Bones here. In today's video, I'll be doing my ban list prediction for the hopefully upcoming ban list. But before I begin, if you happen to enjoy content like this, clicking on those thumbs up and subscribe buttons would be greatly appreciated, as they go a long way in supporting the channel and show me that you like content like this. So here we have our banned, limited, semi-limited, unlimited, and the what ifs, which is a section that will not necessarily mean that I think it's going to move. If anything, take it as a staying in place, but a category for cards that are definitely in need of discussion, whether it be to be hit or unbanned. So the first card I'm going to go with is Artifact Scythe. And I think that this needs the ban simply because what it does isn't good for the game, and we've seen previously with decks, after multiple hits go on, after format defining sets that change the meta for a while, you have certain cards that come back at the beginning of formats after those kind of lists. A good one that comes to mind was Masterpiece. During its final run in the 2018 format, when you let these type of things linger, they stay problems, and that's why I think that Scythe needs to go. And for the same argument, I'm also going to say that Hulk needs to go, even if it's not doing as much right now. It's just one of those cards that eventually is going to do a lot again. We have the card pool to help that, and as more archetypes come out and more cards, it's just hard to justify this staying legal, especially after Master Duels and the OCG both have it banned. Here we have Spellbook of Judgment, and I think the TCG might follow suit here with Master Duels and the OCG simply because Judgment is outdated for what it is. Decks that can run engines with it are limited, and the game has far surpassed what spellbooks were in their prime. Now, for a slight tier hit, because I do think that with tiers becoming the most represented deck of the format, it does need a slap on the wrist, but I just don't think that Sprite and tiers are going to receive hits like that in this list. I think the format is fine, and if you look at the cards that are down below besides this second Scythe here, this really does just feel like we need more of a cleanup for things hindering the game rather than decks that are perfectly fine living within this game. Now, because I have Hulk banned, I do think that Shooting Riser along with all the tuners besides maybe Bulb, and I know some people may disagree with that, but Bulb is just one of those cards that it only takes itself to get a link to. So I do think that is kind of dangerous, though I may be wrong, but that's pretty much it for my thoughts on the tuners there. And now I have Chaos Ruler, so I think that Chaos Ruler is actually going to stay where it's at. And it's because of the Chaos stuff that was revealed. I also think that with the Hulk ban, Chaos Ruler, while still very good, isn't as obnoxious, considering you can't bring out the tuner when it's on field to go into your Dagda with it as a free body, or if you're playing Dragon Link, making your hot red, or whatever you do. But the point is, I think that the pure punk deck still needs more, and I don't think that Chaos Ruler is quite ready to go yet. Now, I do have Wandering Griffin Rider banned. I think that with Griffin Rider banned in the OCG, and Master Duels releasing the Adventure Engine semi-limited with the Right and the Water Enchantress hits, and I know it's not good to compare the OCG to the TCG because they're different, but I do feel like some pattern rhyme, and that's what makes me bring them up here. But the point is, I think that the OCG went through their time with hitting the consistency cards and not the actual problem card, which is the problem card that gives you the negate. and that's really what makes the adventure engine so strong and previously meta-defining. On for Light Stage, I think that Light Stage can come back to 3. Not much to say there. The most use it's seen is as an engine for Sprite, but I think that when Sprite gets hit, it'll be a direct hit. And for Shifter, I'm going to put this as What If, because I think if Shifter gets hit, there's a bigger chance that cards like Anti-Spell, Rivalry, goes in, and there can be only one also get hit. And it's because over the course of the last year or so, we've seen some stronger combo decks start ending on some of these cards. And it's adapted so much so to the point where even rogue decks like Heroes are siding or maining the Rivalry. If your deck can play Gozen, you play it, unless it's not the format for it. So I'm going to lean on the side that they're not going to get hit, but I do have them on What If, because I think if one of these gets hit, I think all of these are in danger because of what they promote for the game. Mystic Mind's fastest ban, I think that this needs to go. It should not be in the game. The only time it's ever healthy is if you happen to near break an unbreakable board. You need that one last card, and it happens to be mine. But besides that, this just promotes a lot of passing and sitting doing nothing for multiple minutes until one player draws the out or something like that, which isn't even consistent, because we saw in one of the previous events you could run Beat Cop to protect your mine. There's also decks playing the Demise of the Land and the Metaverse to turbo into different copies of mine. So it's not as simple as just getting the out, which is why this card just needs to go already. Now, with the release of Valance and the upcoming release of Draco Slayers, I think that this is the perfect time, considering the power creep of Power of the Elements, to bring back Electromite. While I partially feel like this is more of a sales move for the cheap collectors rares for the Valance archetype, it's a card that Konami has been reluctant to bring, but it's one that I feel could come back. And honestly, I want to say the same for Zenmaity. And I think that this can get limited. Of course, you would have to ban the Hunter. I don't have the picture of Hunter here. And quite frankly, you might not even have to ban the Hunter just yet until you want to move Zenmaity to a higher number. But it's just the Power of the Elements power creep in the upcoming sets, the Dark World structure deck, the Ishizu stuff, the archetype that I will not name that can clog up all your monster zones. I just think that there's too much powerhouses coming out for these to stay on the list, and should be fine at 1. The same can be said about Colossus. I know that we have new Chaos support, and this one could kind of be moved to What If, just for the reason that what if this doesn't come off this list but right before Photon Hypernova with the Chaos stuff, because currently there's just not a lot of good Chaos decks, and Thunder Dragons themselves aren't doing much. Sure, the tier cards exist, which on second thought may be a reason that this might stay banned. Just for another card I actually forgot here, and I'll put a picture of it throughout the video, is Fairy Tale Snow. And I think that should also be banned. I hope it stays at 1 because I like to play it, but it probably should be banned. The Pot of Desires, I think, can come back to 3. Same with Fusion Destiny. I also think that Hardpoint stays banned because of the tier stuff. I'm hesitant now to keep this stuff free with the tier stuff around, just because you never know, but it's something that could come off the list in the near future. Then, for the statue, I'm going to put this as a What If along with these floodgates here. Again, if they hit any of these, I think that it's fair game and all of these are in danger of getting hit. Called by the Grave, I think needs to get banned. Another Saki one-of that makes too much of a difference, even during non-hand trap formats, with its ability to banish from grave, and just niche interactions that Called by the Grave is able to take advantage of with archetypes that need their graveyard. And there's Dynamite, and I think this can come back to 3 True Dracos doing nothing, and I think it will remain doing nothing. And then lastly, the Master Plan. I think that Master Plan can come back to 1 for the same reason as the rest of these, with the power of the elements, power creep. I just don't see a reason to keep Spirals dead for any longer. Even with Master Plan at 1, I don't think the deck would do much. Anyways, if you made it this far into the video, I thank you for watching, and if you have any thoughts and opinions down below, feel free to let me know down below. If you want to know why I don't have Maxi on here, it's because I think Maxi will never come back. It's terrible for the game, same with Mystic Mine, but those are basically my opinions. Anyways, it's Bones, signing out.